Hello everyone, my name is Nathan Ballou and this is my Week 4 review, and I'll be discussing the Gettysburg Address, what it meant in the context of the Civil War, and why it still matters today. I'll be going over 5 key points, all focusing on the language Lincoln used and how it redefined American ideals. The more I studied it, especially after watching the lectures, the more I realized how much meaning is packed into those few words. What does Lincoln mean by a new birth of freedom? So when Lincoln talks about a new birth of freedom, he's not just giving a poetic speech. He's pointing to a major shift in what the United States stood for. Before the Civil War, freedom existed, but it wasn't applied to everyone. Enslaved people weren't included in those founding promises. Lincoln is saying that through the sacrifices made in this war, especially at Gettysburg, the country has its chance to be reborn, this time with freedom intended to all. It's both a tribute and a call to action. He's asking the nation to rise from the tragedy with a stronger, more just definition of freedom. Why does he refer to the Declaration of Independence and not the Constitution? Lincoln begins with 77 years ago, which points back to 1776, the year the Declaration of Independence was signed. That's intentional. The Declaration boldly claims that all men are created equal, which fits perfectly with Lincoln's message. On the other hand, the original Constitution, as it stood at the time, didn't deal with slavery directly or treat equality as a priority. By referencing the Declaration, Lincoln connects the war efforts to the founding vision of equality. He's saying that the war isn't just about unifying the states, it's about fulfilling moral promises the nation made in its founding document. How the address redefines the Civil War. At the start of the war, most people believed the goal was to keep the Union together, but Lincoln takes this moment to completely shift that narrative. He says the war is a test. Can a nation built on democracy actually survive such a crisis? And even more than that, he says it's about whether people can govern themselves and whether liberty and equality can truly exist together. He honors the fallen at the Gettysburg by saying that they gave their lives so these ideals could live on. The war isn't just a military conflict, it's a moral and political turning point for the whole country. Why is it so brief? Lincoln's speech is surprisingly short. It's less than 300 words. He followed a 2-hour speech by another speaker, but it's Lincoln's words that we remember today. Why? Because every sentence was purposeful. He didn't use complicated language. Instead, he spoke plainly but powerfully. The lecture mentions how Lincoln wanted to focus to be on the soldiers and the ideals they died for, not on himself. The brevity makes this message more impactful. It leaves room for reflection, and honestly, it's the part of what gives the speech its timeless quality. Why is it so famous? There's a lot of reasons why the Gettysburg Address became so iconic. First, the language is incredibly memorable. Phrases like "a government of people, by the people, for the people" just sticks with you. But beyond that, the speech captures the heart of what America says it stands for: freedom, equality, democracy, and sacrifice. It's been quoted during World War II, the Civil Rights Movement, and even today. Over the time, people began to see the speech as a kind of moral compass. It reminds us of what we should be striving for as a nation. To wrap things up, Lincoln used the Gettysburg Address to transform how Americans viewed in the war, their country, and even themselves. He connected the fight on the battlefield to the founding ideals of the country, and he did it in a way that still challenges us today. His message wasn't just about honoring the dead, it was about making sure their sacrifices wasn't in vain. That's what made the speech so powerful even now. It's a reminder that democracy and equality are always unfinished work. And that's all. Thank you for your time.